Everyone, it's Nadia from YARNutopia. Today we are making the Let Your Buns Out hat. This hat is so fabulous. We are working around a hair elastic and then making different sections and then crocheting them together to make this fabulous hat. And it has a brim, which is optional. So we're working with an eclectic amount of stitches. As you can see, these sections are all different types of stitching. This one's a half double crochet. These are crisscross stitches, and then there's front post stitches as well to make an interesting eclectic design. And you can wear your hair out with a bun and be fashionable and have your hair up and out of the way as well. So in this project today we are going to need Red Heart yarns. I'm using Red Heart Super Saver yarns, and you aren't going to need a whole lot. I just had some yarn balls and yarn skeins just extra from different projects, and so I decided to use these 4 colors. You can use as many colors as you want. There are 6 different sections here, and each two sections are the same color, and then we are crocheting them together with a different color, and the brim is a different color. So you can use as many colors as you want. I'm using 4 different colors. These are Red Heart Super Saver yarns. Okay, this is a worsted weight 4 medium yarn, and in the specific colors, I'll have that all on my blog. For the written pattern, I'm using Coffee, which is like a chocolate brown color. I'm using Aran, which is like an off-white color, and then this reddish color here, like this burnt red color, is called Redwood. I don't have the label for it, but it's called Redwood, and this color here is called Gold. Again, I don't have the label for this. You're going to need about 20 yards or so, give or take 10 yards, I guess, per color. So this project though is about 120 yards of yarn completely total, so you're not going to need a whole lot of yarn to finish this simple hat. This hat will fit a teen adult size head, women's hat or women's head. So it'll fit me, it fit my mom. You'll see the photos of her on my blog. She modeled it for me. So thanks, Mom, for that. But the other supplies you're going to need, other than the yarn, are crochet hook, H size hook, which is 5 millimeters. Now this hook I'm using today, this has a nice wooden handle that is ergonomic. I have used this in the past, and I've told everybody that you can get this hook specifically at the Etsy shop Would Be Fancy. This is just a really nice grip handle that you can use, and you can get these online, and they're really nice, and they have different sizes, and these hooks are fixed inside of this handle, so you don't have to interchange it at all. They have different styles and everything. So I'll put a link to the shop where you can get this on Etsy if you are interested in getting a hook like this. I'll put the link to that in the description of this video on YouTube so you can find out where to get these hooks. I am also using a scissors, a yarn needle as well, to cut the yarn, sew in the ends, and all that jazz. These are fancy nice scissors that I got for the holidays. And you are going to need a hair elastic. So you can use any hair tie, a scrunchie, any hair piece elastic that you can crochet around. So I just have these simple scrunchy ones. So I will also put a link in my website and the written pattern for these specific scrunchy hair elastics, so you can find something similar to this, but you can easily get these at the dollar store for your hair. So those are all the supplies we need. Now for the frequently asked questions, what does this measure? So let me get the measure tape out here, this little lamb here. We're going to measure this from top to bottom, I guess, side bottom, because there's a brim there. You can see there's that brim. So top to bottom measures 16 centimeters, which is about 6 or 6.5 inches. So that will fit around the edge of your bun, okay, to the bottom of your ear. Okay, that will cover everything on the side. Now, obviously, you can make this longer or shorter just by adding or subtracting rows, and you can make this smaller. Each section is 10 stitches each. So if you want to make this smaller, you can go by an even number, so you can do each section in stitches of 6 or 8 or 10, okay, to make this smaller. I wouldn't go anything bigger really. This fits an adult head, and that's all you would really need for the biggest size is 60 stitches around in the end, because there's 6 sections of 10 stitches, and with the math it comes out to 60 stitches. Now this, like I said though, you can make it with 6 stitches in each section or 8 stitches in each section, and then just make this shorter if you want to make it a smaller size for a child. So I don't have the stitch counts or the pattern for other sizes. I'm only writing the written pattern out for the adult size, which is the one I'm going to demonstrate in this video today. So those are the supplies you need. That's the frequently asked questions. One thing I'm going to mention is my nail polish, because I really like this color. This is a NYC, New York color, and this specific color is, oh, there we go, Tudor City Teal. So I said that in this new year I was going to let you know what is on my nails, because I get that question often. So if you want to get like me, you can get the same nail color at any drugstore or online. Also, last thing before we get started, I have to say a big thank you to my dad, Fuad Azmat, for taking the time to make this video with us. He is our videographer, editor, and photographer for all of our videos at YARNutopia. So make sure you subscribe to our channel here on YouTube. Follow me on Facebook and Instagram. All those links are in the description of this video and also on my pattern on my website, YARNutopia.com. So I'll see you there, and now let's get started and make the Let Your Buns Out hat. Alright, I'm going to start out with section 1, and using the off-white color Aran, I'm going to make a slip knot. So put your short end over the long end, then fold that down and pull that through and pull tight. And then what we're going to do is grab our hair tie, or our, if you have a scrunchie or something stretchy to work around, and then our crochet hook. And what we're going to do is take the hair tie, the elastic, and put that on your hook like that, and then put that loop that you made with your slip knot on your hook, just like that, okay? And then what we're going to do is attach this to the hair tie. So pull that through the hair tie, and then chain 1, so yarn over and pull through, okay? And now we're attached. Now we are going to make 10 single crochets around this hair tie, and you can do any amount in an even number, kind of like how I showed you this in the beginning of this video. To make this smaller, if you want to make a child size or a baby size, just do an even number that is less than 10. I'm going to do 10 because I'm making this an adult size. So yarn over and pull through. Okay, just like this, and then yarn over and pull through 2 loops. Okay, that is a single crochet. So I'm making 10 of those. So if you need to make this smaller, you can do less than 10. So I'm going to go in, then yarn over and pull through, and then yarn over and pull through 2 loops. Okay, so that's 2. Here's 3 and 4. Okay, you can kind of see I'm working over the top of this straggler as well, so I don't have to sew that in later. This is 5 and 6. Okay, 7 and 8, 9, and 10. Alright, so this is our 10 single crochets around this piece. Now when we're making 6 sections around here, so this other part of this hair tie will get worked around for the other sections, but this section is just one small section that we are working on. So now what we're going to do is chain up 1 and turn our work. Okay, that chain up 1 doesn't count as anything. So now we turned our work around, so now we're looking at it like this, and we are going to half double crochet into each stitch across. So yarn over, go into this very first one that we just chained up 1 over here. We're going to go into that first stitch, then yarn over and pull through, and then yarn over and pull through all 3 of the loops on your hook. Okay, that's a half double crochet. So again, yarn over, go into the very next stitch, then yarn over and pull through, and then yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. Okay, So we're just half double crocheting in each stitch across, and that's for rows 2 through 19. Now you don't have to do as many rows as me. I'm making this as long as I need to fit my head, so I'm going to do 19 rows of this. Okay, so we're just half double crocheting into each stitch. As you can see here, I'm going a little bit faster because it is a repetition. And then you want to make sure you have 10 half double crochets on each row. Okay, so if you need to count back here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then chain 1, turn your work around, and then continue working a half double crochet in each stitch. So like I said though, I'm going to repeat this till I finish row 19. I won't make you watch me do every single row. I'll just do that on my own, and then but you can make this as long as you need to fit on your head. So I'm going to do that, and then I will meet you up for the next step. Alright, so I just finished row 19. I chained 1 here because I was actually going to go on to row 20 and I stopped myself. But this is what your piece should look like now. So it's just like a long piece with the hair tie on the end here. And you can see here, these are the rows. So you can see row 1 here. Okay, this is what we did on around the hair tie. So it was row 1. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19. Okay, so those are the rows, and those are what they look like. So this is what the piece should look like right now. So we are going to fasten this off. So like I said though, I chained that 1 here. I'm going to cut this yarn, and then we're going to just continue to pull that through. Okay, and then pull that tight, and that's fastened off. Okay, so now this is a repeat piece, so we are going to repeat this one more time a little later, but now we're going to go on to making section 2. Okay, so we're going to come to this side, so if we're looking at this panel here, we're going to go to the left of it, right next to it, right here, and I'm going to grab my gold yarn. Okay, and we're going to do exactly what we did with this first piece, making the slip knot. Okay, so I'm just making a slip knot. And then I'm going to insert my hook into the hair tie and hook that loop on my hook, and then pull that through the hair tie, and then chain 1 to attach it. Okay, and now we're going to try to make it go up, butt up against this section here, section 1, okay, and we are going to make the same 10 single crochets into the hair tie. So go into the elastic, yarn over, pull through, and then yarn over and pull through 2 loops. So that's 1. Okay, I showed you how to do this before, so I'm going to just do it a little bit faster now. 2, here's 3, here's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and whoops, last one here, 10. Okay, now if your stretch is out like this and you don't have a whole lot of room, just make sure to slide it down as best as you can, because like I said though, we're going to make 6 of these sections, so you definitely want to slide these down to make room. Okay, just like that. Now, going on to row 2 of section 2, we are going to chain up 3, 1, 2, and 3, and that is going to count as our first double crochet of the row. And we're going to turn our work around, so now we're looking at this side here, and we are going to double crochet across here. So yarn over, skip this first one right here because this chain up 3 counts as a stitch that looks like it's worked in that stitch. So yarn over, go into the next stitch, then yarn over and pull through, then yarn over and pull through 2, and yarn over and pull through 2. Yarn over, go into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over and pull through 2. Okay, so that's a double crochet. Yarn over, go into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Okay, so we're just double crocheting across. With that chain up 3 at the beginning of the row, that counts as a double crochet, so in all you will have 10 stitches across, 10 double crochets, okay, which includes that chain up 3, just like this. Okay, so you can count back here. Oops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, so I have 10 stitches across here. You want each section that you're making to be the same exact number. So if you are making this hat smaller and only are doing 8 stitches, you want each section to have 8 stitches, or 6 or 4. You want to obviously do an even number. And I'm doing 10, so you can do either 8 or 6. I really wouldn't go down to 4. That's going to be a really tiny hat. So now we're going to go on to row 3. And for row 3, we're going to chain up 3. 1, 2, 3. That counts as our first double crochet of the next row. We're turning this around. And now what we're going to do is front post double crochet on each stitch, starting with this next one here. So this doesn't count, because this chain up 3 counts as a stitch that's worked into this stitch. So we're going to make a front post double crochet. So yarn over, go between these posts, so around this one right here, going from the front of it around it to the other side, just like that. So now we're on the post itself. And then yarn over and pull through. Then yarn over and pull through 2 loops. And then yarn over and pull through 2 loops. Okay, that's a front post double crochet. So we're going to do that all the way across until the very last stitch. On that very last stitch there, we are going to just put a regular double crochet on that. So I'll show you again. Yarn over, go to the side of the next post, okay, around it, like that. Then yarn over and pull through. Yarn over and pull through 2 loops. And then yarn over and pull through 2 loops. Yarn over, go into the side of this next one right here, around it. Yarn over, pull through. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Okay, so I'm just going to do this all the way across here. I just have a few more stitches. You can watch me continue to do front post double crochets. And then on the very last stitch, which seems to look like a chain up 3, it doesn't actually look like a double crochet, right here, we are going to put a regular double crochet. So yarn over, go into the top of that chain up 3, right there. Then yarn over and pull through. Then yarn over and pull through 2, and yarn over and pull through 2. Okay, so it's a regular double crochet. Now, going on to the next rows, we are going to repeat. So chain up 3, turn the work around. You can see a nice ridge was made. Look at how cool that looks. And that's what we're going to create. So now we're going to front post double crochet on this next stitch here, and each stitch until the very last stitch. And on the last stitch, we're just going to put a regular double crochet. Okay, so basically just repeat what we did for row 3. Okay, so I'm on row 4 right now. So that was pretty simple. So we're just doing front post double crochets, then a regular double crochet in the last stitch, then chain up 3, and continue doing that. On each row you should have 10 stitches if you're continuing, copying exactly what I'm making. If you're making this smaller, each section should have the same amount of stitches. Each row should have the same amount of stitches as the last row. We're not increasing or decreasing anything. So I'm just going to do this until I finish row 14. I know we did 19 rows for section 1, but section 2 is only going to need 14 because these double crochets are taller stitches than half double crochets. So you'll need less rows. Just make this as long as you need to fit the same length as section 1. Okay, so I'm going to go from here, I'm at this point here, I'm going to make it as long as it is until I get to this point, till it is the same length as section 1. And that should be row 14. So once I get there, I will meet you up and we'll go on to the next step. Alright, so I finished this section, and what I ended up having to do is make an extra row, so I ended up finishing on row 15 instead of 14, just because I laid this down on my table here, and I put these two nice and tight together like this, because that's what is going to be a little later when we do crochet this together. And you could see here, when I finished row 14, it ended about right here on this one. So I ended up having to make another row to get it to match up as close as possible to the edge of this section 1 here. So section 2 and section 1 are the same length, and even though section 2 is just a hair shorter than section 1, this will stretch and we will have it fitting very nicely when we crochet along this seam here a little later. So when you finish section 2, just make sure that you, when you're comfortable with the length of it, make sure to lay this down, put these nice and tight together, make sure they are the same length or as close as possible. And when you are ready, you can fasten this off. So I will change that in the written pattern portion to say row 15 instead of row 14, but you can end it as you need, you know, if you're needing to be shorter or longer. As you can see here, I chained 1 and cut my yarn, and I'm going to pull that through, and we're going to pull that tight to fasten off here, and that was section 2. Okay, so now, actually this is my outside here. So this was section 1, section 2, and now we're going to go on to section 3. So if you need to, scoot these over to make some room, and we are going to start just like we did with the other sections. I'm going to grab my redwood color here, and we are going to make that slip knot, short end over the long end, fold it down, and then pull it through and pull tight. Insert your hook into the elastic center circle here, and then hook that redwood or the new yarn on your hook like so. And then we're going to pull that through and then chain 1 to attach. Okay, and like you can see here, it is butt up against section 2 here, and we're going to go on to making section 3. So just like section 1 and section 2, we are going to go into the elastic circle here, yarn over and pull through, and then yarn over and pull through 2 loops to make a single crochet, and we're going to make 10 of those. So that was 1, go in, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. That's 2, this is 3, here's 4, and 5, 6, oopsie, here's 7. I'm working over this straggler, this loose end as well, so again, I won't have to sew that in later. Here's 8, and 9, and last one here, 10. Okay, so that's what it should look like. And now what we're going to do is for row 2, we are going to chain up 3, 1, 2, and 3, turn the work around just like that, and we are going to skip this next stitch right here. So this chain of 3 counts as a stitch, and that's basically what is worked into this first stitch right here. So we are going to skip this next stitch right here, and we are going to double crochet into this next stitch right here. So yarn over, skip that one, go into this next stitch here, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, and yarn over and pull through 2 loops for that double crochet. And now we're going to double crochet in that skipped stitch that we skipped over here. So what we're going to do is yarn over, and it's easy to go from the back of the work. So yarn over and then pull this forward here, and you can see that skipped stitch right there. Okay, then yarn over and pull through, and then yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over and pull through 2. So now we've made an X shape like that. So it's like a crisscross stitch. And we're going to do that across until the very last stitch, and we're going to double crochet in the last stitch. So I'll show you again. We're going to skip this next stitch right here, and we are going to double crochet into the next stitch. So yarn over, go in, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over and pull through 2. Then yarn over, go into that skipped stitch over here. We're going to go from the back of the work. So if you need to fold this forward, you can kind of bend it forward a little bit. And then you can see here is the stitch right there. Okay, we're going to go in there, yarn over and pull it through, and then yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over and pull through 2. And there's your X shape. Okay, again, yarn over, skip this stitch, go into this stitch for a double crochet. And if you wanted to, you could go through the front, but it's kind of difficult, especially if you're going to wrap around. You'd probably end up wrapping around this post, and we don't want to do that. So I'm just going to go through the back here. So we're still going in the front of that stitch, but you can see here I kind of folding this down so I can see the stitch. Okay, you can really manipulate your work however you need to be able to see your stitches and where to insert your hook. So again, yarn over, skip the next stitch, go into the next stitch and make a double crochet, and then double crochet in the skipped stitch. Alright, now we have 1 stitch left here. We are just going to put a regular double crochet into that very last stitch. So now if you need to count back, you should have 10 stitches. 1, 2, and 3, 4 and 5, 6 and 7, 8 and 9, and then 10 is this last one here. Okay, so there should be 10 stitches, or the same amount of stitches as you started with when you single crocheted around the elastic piece. Okay, so now we're just going to repeat this row. We are going to chain up 3, 1, 2, 3, turn the work around. We are going to skip this stitch right here, and we are going to double crochet into the next stitch. And then double crochet into the skipped stitch like that. And then double crochet, skip a stitch and double crochet in the next, and then double crochet into the skipped stitch. And we're going to do that until the very last stitch, and in the very last stitch we are going to double crochet. So here I just have 4 more stitches left to do here. Okay, and then there, double crochet in the skipped stitch, and so now I have 1 stitch left, which looks like this chain up 3 right here. We are going to double crochet into the top of that chain up 3. It's supposed to be a stitch. It's supposed to be counted as a stitch. So do not forget this one, and if you need to count at the end of each row, count that you do have 10 stitches. Okay, at the end here it's a little difficult to get in that chain, but if you get it, you got a double crochet in there, and that was row 3. Okay, so I am going to do 12 rows of this one. I might do more depending just like how I did for section 2 when I laid it down and measured it up against section 1. I'm going to repeat row 2 on this piece until it is as long as I need it to be. That matches up to sections 1 and 2. So I'm thinking it's going to be 12 rows, but if it's more than that, I will come back and meet you up, and I'll let you know how many rows I actually did, and we'll go on to the next step. Alright, I just finished row 12 here. I'm going to chain 1 and pull this hook out here, and I'm going to measure this against section 2. And oh yeah, it looks really nice. So it matches up, lengthwise, it matches up to the T actually. It's perfect sizing. So sections 1, 2, and 3 all will be the same size or very, very close. So now what we have to do is fasten section 3 off. So like I showed you, I chained up 1 here, and then I'm going to cut this yarn, and then I'm going to pull that all the way through and pull it tight. Okay, so now we have these 3 sections done. Okay, so this is what it should look like so far. So now what I'm going to do is go back to my off-white color here, go right next to section 3, and repeat exactly what I did for section 1. So I'm going to make section 1, 2, and 3 one more time each. Okay, so I'm going to start again with section 1 now. And then right next to that, I'll make section 2, and then I'll end this pattern with section 3. And we are going to repeat that then one more time. So we have 6 sections in total, okay? So I am going to repeat this pattern one more time. You can see here, sections 1, 2, and 3. We're going to make now, I'm doing section 1 again, then number 2, and then number 3. And you will have to scoot these over on your elastic. Just stretch your elastic so that you have room for your other sections. And it will get bunched up really tight up here, but don't worry about that, because in the end, it will all work out and it will look like a hat. And then once I finish repeating sections 1, 2, and 3 one more time here, I will have 6 sections when I come back, and we will go on to the next step in attaching the seams on each piece. So I'll meet you up at that point. Alright, I just finished my 6th section here, so this is what it should look like. So we have 2 of each of the 3 sections. We have 2 of section 1, 2 of section 2, and 2 of section 3. So we have 6 sections in total, and each section has 10 stitches each. So in total you should have, if you want to count the last rows all together, it would be 60 stitches in total. So now we can attach these, because it just looks like a big giant like star looking thing or a sun or something right now. So what we want to do is, well, first I'll show you how to sew in some ends here. You're going to have a lot of ends to actually sew in at this point. I sewed in a few off camera, but what I usually do is yarn my needle with the little loose end here, and then I go underneath some stitches, okay, and just go in just like that, okay. And then I stretch it out to make sure it's not going to come loose, and then I just trim any extra. Okay, so that's at the edge there. And then if you didn't crochet over this, you can just sew that in also the same way I just showed you, but I crocheted over the top of those. So that is what it should look like. So now I'm grabbing my other color. I'm using this chocolate color, chocolate brown. And what we're going to do is grab our crochet hook, and we're going to go with attaching each section. So you can see section 1 and section 2 here. That's where I'm going to start, and what we're going to do is line these edges up completely. Okay, so you may have to stretch one or kind of make sure that it's all lined up just like that. And then we're going to start closest to the elastic. Okay, and you're just going to go insert your hook wherever it fits on this side of this section 2, and then go into section 1 again wherever it fits. Okay, closest to the elastic band. Okay, right in there. And then I'm going to hook on my color here. Okay, just like that. And then chain up 1. And we are going to single crochet now down this side. And so wherever your hook will fit, we're going to go in through both layers, and I'm going to crochet over the top of this straggler as well. Okay, so you can see that there. Yarn over, pull through, and then yarn over and pull through 2 loops. Okay, this doesn't have a specific number of single crochets, it's just going to be an attaching method. So we're just going in through one layer, out through the next layer, and then yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. So I don't actually know how many single crochets it's going to make me do. And you want to make sure you stretch this all the way down, make sure it's all lined up completely, so you're not, you know, don't have extra fabric on one side. Okay, so we're just going in and single crocheting. Okay, all the way down this piece, and then it'll have that attaching method. And I'm going to do this for each section, then each side. So let me get down here, I'll show you exactly what I'm doing. All the way down, single crochet. Okay, so I'll have to stretch this out here. Keep lining it up, going through both layers. just wherever your hook fits. It really does not matter. Okay. Then when you get to the bottom edge here, we're going to actually go into the stitches itself. So let me get through this side. Okay, so now you can see here, there's my chain up 3 here. At the bottom here, I'm going into the stitch, like that, and then I'm going to go into the stitch on this one as well. And then yarn over, pull through both layers, yarn over, pull through 2. And then we're going to fasten this part off. So chain 1, cut your yarn, and continue to pull that through and pull that tight. Okay, I can cut this little straggler because I crocheted over the top of it. Okay, and there's 2 sections crocheted together. So now you'll have to kind of manipulate your piece here to make it, stretch it out and everything, make it look good. So there's 1 section together. So now go for section 2 and 3, attach those 2 exactly the same way. So line them all up like this. Insert your hook at the closest edge to the elastic on both layers. Then grab your yarn. We're using the same brown. I'm using the same chocolate brown color on each attaching piece, but you can get creative and use all different colors if you want to attach with different yarns. Totally up to you, but I'm just working down the sides here, attaching the 2 sides just like so. And then once I do that, I'm going to then fasten off at the end there, just like I showed you for when I attach sections 1 and 2. You will see that it will kind of cone like cup like this, I guess, and that is going to be making the hat shape, which is exactly what we want. So that's exciting, and we're close to being finished. So I'm just going to attach each section together until I have a hat shape. And then that should be 6 sections in total that we're attaching together. And then I'll meet you up when I finish that, and we'll go on to the next step together. Alright, I just finished attaching each section here, and I'm sewing in my ends as I finish each section. So I'm just yarning my needle here when I fasten off, and then just going underneath inside of the hat. As you can see here, inside of the hat, I'm going underneath these stitches to sew in my ends, and then stretch that out, and then cut any extra, just like that. Okay, so this is what your hat should look like so far. Okay, so all the pieces, all the sections are attached. So now we want to clean up this bottom edge here and make a little edging here. So attach your yarn into any stitch, okay, any stitch around as you feel. I'm just going to start right in this section right here, and I'm going to grab the same color I'm using, the chocolate color that I use to attach each piece. And now we're just going to chain 1 and then single crochet in the same stitch that we just attached to, and we're going to just single crochet into each stitch around. Okay, just like this. So I'm sure you know how to do single crochets by now, since we just attached each section using a single crochet method. So now I'm just going to single crochet into each stitch. Make sure you are counting your stitches on this round. You want to make sure you have 60 stitches in total. That is 10 stitches on each section. And when you get to this part here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, when you get to the next section, what I actually am going to do is go to the bottom of this part right here. Okay, so this is where we attached this part here. I went into the last single crochet there, and then I'm going into the very next stitch on this new section right here. Okay, and that's a creator's choice kind of thing, and we're just going to yarn over and pull through both layers there, just like that, and then yarn over and pull through 2 loops. Okay, that way this part right here looks like it's already connected to this bottom part here, and there's no openings, no gaps or anything. So then I'm just going to single crochet into each one of these stitches on this section. Okay, just like that. And then when I get to the end of this section, going on to the next section here, I'm going to go into the last single crochet on this part right here and into the next stitch on this next section, and pulling through both of those things like that, and then yarn over and pull through 2. Just like that, and then going on to this next section. So just do that all the way around. At the end of this round you will have 60 stitches, and then I'll meet you up for the next step. When you come around to finishing this round here, we're going to go into this piece here and then slip stitch into this first stitch of this round. So go into both of these, yarn over, pull through, and pull through all the way. Okay, so everything is attached, and then we can fasten this part off if you are not going on to making the brim. I guess regardless if you're making a brim or not, we're going to fasten off anyway. So chain 1, cut your yarn, and then continue to pull that through and pull it tight. Okay, and then we want to obviously weave in our ends so that we don't have any loose ends to have to deal with later. So I just yarn my needle and go into the inside of the hat and put it in the inside underneath these stitches, just like that. Okay, I'm going to stretch it out and then cut any extra we may have. Now, there you have a nice lovely bun hat, but if you want to go on to making a brim, that is optional. You can continue watching this section. So what we're going to do, I'm going to use the same chocolate brown color. You can use obviously any color that you want, it is creator's choice. But this lovely hat looks great so far. So what we want to do for this section is count out 3 sections here. That is 30 stitches, so 10, 20, 30, right? You want to make sure the middle one is going to be the center of your forehead, okay? So I am going to choose actually to have this white section here as the center of my forehead, okay? So we're going to turn this upside down, so you're looking at the elastic part here. We're going to start with this section here because the middle section, we're doing in 3 sections here. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3. And I want my white section here to be in the center of my forehead, okay? So we're going to start at this one right here, and I'm going to insert my hook at the very first stitch way over here. You can even go in one more on this side if you want to, okay? Just somewhere over on this side. And then I'm going to grab my yarn, hook it on the hook, and pull it through. And now what we're going to do is chain up 1, and now we're going to do a repeat pattern here. Stay with me for the whole row here. We are going to single crochet into the same stitch, so go in, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. Then in the next stitch we are going to put 2 single crochets. So 1 and 2. And now we're going to do that sequence, repeating that between 13 or 15 times. It's kind of up to you, but once you get all the way through this section, and this section, it might be 13 times, it might be 15 times. So I've done 2 of these hats now, and it has come off different each time. So that's why I'm saying it's really creator's choice here. We're going to repeat that. So 1 single crochet in the next stitch, and then 2 single crochets in the next stitch. So that's our second repeat. Okay, so we did it once and twice. So now again, going 1 single crochet in the next stitch, and then 2 single crochets in the next stitch. And that's our third repeat there. Next stitch gets 1 single crochet, the next stitch gets 2 single crochets. So that's our 4th repeat. Continuing on, 1 single crochet in the next stitch and 2 single crochets in the next stitch. That's our 5th repeat. So 1 single crochet in the next stitch, and then 2 single crochets in the next stitch. So that should be our 6th. Let me count here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, 6th repeat there. So then 1 single crochet in the next stitch, 2 single crochets in the stitch after that, so that's our 7th. Okay, 1 single crochet in the next stitch, 2 single crochets in the next stitch, that's our 8th. 1 single crochet in the next stitch, 2 single crochets in the next stitch, that's our 9th. 1 single crochet in the next stitch, 2 in the next, that's our 10th repeat here. This one is our 11th repeat, 1 and then 2. Next stitch is 1, next stitch is 2. That's our 12th repeat. Here's our 13th repeat. I might have to do 15. Here's our 14th repeat and our 15th repeat. Okay, so that goes across here. You can see if I come back here, 3 whole sections, 1, 2, and 3. Now what we're going to do is slip stitch into this next stitch right here. So go in, yarn over, pull through, and pull through. Okay. Now what we're going to do is chain 1 and go on to row 2 of the brim. So I'm going to turn my work around looking at the inside of the hat, and all we have to do for rows 2 through 5, we are just going to single crochet across. Okay, and then we're going to actually slip stitch into the next stitch on the actual hat part. So let me single crochet across here, just putting 1 single crochet now in each stitch across for row 2, 3, 4, and 5. But when you get to the end of this row, end of each row, we're going to slip stitch into the very next stitch on the hat. So I'll show you exactly what I mean. It can get confusing. So what I'm going to do is just single crochet all the way across this piece right here. This is row 2 of the brim now that I'm working. Just 1 single crochet in each stitch like so. Okay, coming up on the last section here. And you know, the stitch count and everything will be on the blog, on the written pattern, so if you need stitch counts for that section, you can get that in the written pattern that's linked in the description of this video if you're watching this on YouTube. Okay, so now I'm coming up to the end of row 2 here, so we're going to single crochet into each stitch, and then single crochet in this very last stitch. And now come down onto the very next free stitch on the hat. We're going to slip stitch in there. So go in, yarn over, pull through and through. But don't pull too tight. Just enough. Just like that. Then we're going to chain 1 and turn our work. Going on to row 3, we're going to skip the slip stitch here. And we're just going to single crochet across. Okay, just like that. And then slip stitch, when you get to the end of row 3, slip stitch in the next free stitch on the hat part. Okay, but then when you chain 1 and turn your work, you're going to skip that slip stitch, just like I showed you, and single crochet across. Okay, it's quite simple. And if you want to, you can end early. If your brim is getting too far out, you can end on row 3 or 4. But I'm going to finish mine off on row 5. Okay, so I'm on row 3 right now. And I'm going to do then the rest of row 3, row 4, and row 5 off camera. And then I'll meet you up when we're about to fasten off. Alright, when you finish row 5 here, or when you're finished completely with your brim, just slip stitch into the next free stitch on the hat part itself. Just slip stitch in there, and then you can chain 1 and cut our yarn. And then continue to pull that through and pull it tight, and then grab your yarn needle and sew in any loose ends that you have anymore, because now we are finished with the Let's Let Your Buns Out hat. What a silly name. But yeah, we're finished. So thank you so much for watching and learning how to make this bun hat. I know they're all the craze lately, and it's a really, really cute idea if you want your hair up in a bun, yet you want to wear a hat, and there's not a big bump underneath your hat. You will have your buns out. So there it is. How lovely. Thanks again so much for watching and learning how to make this hat. Enjoy it and take your photos and share it on the Facebook and on Instagram. And be sure to hashtag YARNutopia so I can see your beautiful hats online on social media. Also make sure you Snapchat me. I'm YARNutopia on Snapchat, so I'll see you there. Thanks again for watching, everyone. Have a great rest of your day. Happy hooking!